What's up, everybody? Time for our Atlanta Business Scoop with Eli Zandman again. Always good to see you, Eli. Thanks for being here.
You too. Always great to be here.
So we've got a lot to talk about today. We've been pretty positive on our previous weeks lately, talking about a bunch of openings. Today we have some downer news, talking about a closing, but a couple of good openings as well. So let's start with the openings. Let's start with the good. Let's talk DBA. It's a barbecue spot that many people in the Atlanta area may be familiar with. There's a new location in Buckhead, right?
Yes. So DBA Barbecue, found primarily and most recently exclusively in the Virginia Highlands area, has opened a new location. This actually took place of what had been the Greater Good Barbecue along Roswell Road in Chastain Park. So pretty exciting to see this brand expand with a third location actually in the works later this year for Clarkston as well.
Now, I have been to DBA, and I think their barbecue is amazing. Are you a fan?
It's pretty solid. As I've discussed previously, cut down on my meat consumption a fair amount, but from friends of mine that have gone, they still have very high marks for it.
So let's move now to another opening, and this is in Alpharetta, different spot. We're talking about a breakfast spot. I love a good breakfast place. This is Snooze, Alpharetta. Tell us about this place. Now, I haven't heard of it.
So they're actually out of Denver. They just opened in the Atlanta market about a year and some change ago, and they entered first in Sandy Springs. They followed that up with a location on the west side and more recently a location in Midtown. Their newest location, however, is in Alpharetta, not far from North Point Mall. It's right next door to Lazy Dog, which we've talked about previously. And this is their fourth location. But in addition to this one, they have additional new locations planned for Acres near Cumberland Mall, Dunwoody near Perimeter Mall, and also one in Buford near the Mall of Georgia. So very active in the expansion of the Atlanta area right now.
Do they have a specialty food item?
They do a lot of
breakfast food, good Benedict.
Breakfast and lunch, leaning on the healthier side, but I would say some people might compare it to local places like Flying Biscuit or regional chains like First Watch. But they have their own take on breakfast, and they have their own little gimmick and kind of theme to the menu.
All right. So let's move now to a closing or a series of closings. We're talking about Bed Bath & Beyond, and we've talked about this quite a bit on this segment, but we have more closures happening, and it's taking this to the next level.
Interestingly, yes. So we've talked about closings, and this is kind of the final round of closings, but there's a silver lining. Burlington, a national chain of off-price department stores, has acquired 44 currently, but closing Bed Bath & Beyond store leases and will be reopening in those stores. In the case of the Metro Atlanta area, that affects 3 stores, including those at Acres Mill near Cumberland Mall, also at the Edgewood Retail District in Atlanta, not far from Little Five Points, and then a third one down in Warner Robins. So while the stores may be closing, we are getting a probably near immediate replacement store in Burlington.
Okay. In Burlington, you can always find some good deals in there, especially with coats.
Definitely.
They
used to be the Burlington Coat Factory, but they've dropped Coat Factory. They are now just Burlington.
I did find a good coat, though, at Burlington, I will say. So they did still have coats.
Definitely. In another piece of kind of related news, in addition to those store closings and the auctions for those store leases happening, Overstock.com has acquired the intellectual property of Bed Bath & Beyond, including their website. And as they announced literally this week, in announcing that they will be acquiring the intellectual property, or IP as it's known, of Bed Bath & Beyond, they will be renaming their website bedbathandbeyond.com and adopting that name going forward and retiring the Overstock.com nameplate for future needs.
Interesting. That is a huge development. Well, Eli, thanks for the great information as always. So fill people in on where they can find you each week when you're not here on Neighborhood TV.
Definitely. So I am Tomorrow's News Today Atlanta, TonitoATL.com, also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
All right, Eli, great to see you. Great information, couple of openings and closings, but good news overall. We'll see you soon.
Definitely. Sounds good. Thank you.